I was getting into trouble all the time, my mouth, blah, 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 blah. And so they were like, oh, what are we going to do? So again, I was really obsessed with unleashing the untapped potential of people's ability to communicate. Like a duck will not quack. If a duck is raised by a deer, it won't quack. Everything is going to be based on our data. It's literally going to be our new form of DNA.
Never Work a Day talks to folks that are pivoting their lives to follow their passions. We talk about pitfalls, misadventures, hilarious and heartbreaking, meet the outstanding individuals, and learn about their continuing journey. I'm your host, Nikki Frankel, purveyor of platforms and creator of play spaces, and I'm so excited to bring you the stories of these extraordinary individuals. Welcome back to Never Work a Day. Our guest today is Kanene Ayo Holder. Growing up, Kanene was deeply influenced by the power of speech and communication, going on to study speech pathology at Howard University. She moved to be a 3-time National Endowment for the Humanities award-winning teacher and consultant with a focus on inclusion and diversity, working with the New York Times School, the Apollo Theater, and charter schools throughout New York. During this time, Kanene became an award-winning comedian and brought to the world an incredibly stylish alter ego who graces the cover of an international best-selling fashion book. She produced off-Broadway satires at venues including the Public Theater Joe's Pub, Brooklyn Museum, Columbia University, and Fast Company's Innovation Festival. Moving into AI as Create Lab's Venture AI Integration Manager for Empowered, an ethical and inclusion AI model, Kanene empowered individuals and companies to develop effective, responsible AI strategies. Through her company, FutureFixer's AI, Kanene creates conversations with industry leaders in a series called Data is DNA, discussing the future of humanity and our data across social media, AI, and advertising. Let's meet Kanene.
Yes!
Yay, Kanene, it's so nice to see you.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you for talking to me today.
We're sharing.
Such a pleasure.
Sharing.
Such a pleasure.
Sharing is caring.
To be sharing all of these things together. I met you through Lauren Ducray.
Yes.
Who's a lovely poet who was in our season 1 episode, a couple of our season 1 guests. How did you meet Lauren?
I met Lauren at an AI and advertising event that was held at New York Times Center last year. And she was on stage talking about melding creativity and technology to unleash the poetic potential of humanity.
Wow.
And I said, who is this little lady? And her colorful blazer, I said, yes. Come, corporate America, sea of tranquility. Yes.
Yes, I see that.
And I was like, who are you? And she was like, who are you? And I was like, we need to know each other.
Great. Yes. And she introduced us together and we had a lovely talk. And I thought, oh my God, she's doing so many things. I can't even believe it. I want to talk about where you first started.
Yes.
Because I think it's really, it colors everything, right? So origin story wise, you grew up in Brooklyn. I grew up in New York too. 2 native New Yorkers. If you wonder where we are, we're here.
Yes. When we're not having tea at the Ritz-Carlton.
When we're not at the Ritz-Carlton Nomad, which is a fun place to go
Shout out.
Squat.
Yes.
If you want to. Now everyone's going to do it and now I can never go.
Damn it. Edit it out.
Don't. Just everybody just go and we'll just, all hang out together.
Or we're here at Newhouse. Shout out to Newhouse.
We love Newhouse.
We love Newhouse.
You grew up in Brooklyn, but you also, in your sort of, what you kind of learned at growing up, you had a family member that had issues with speech. And I'm jumping into this because we have so much to cover. And I also really want to talk about speech pathology and what did you witness in terms of seeing this family member having issues with learning to speak, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's my brother, and I really wanted to, I was the only child until 8.5, and then my mother's like, okay, fine, here's your brother. And I was like, yes. So I was really excited. And he had what's called an artic. In speech, we call it artic. So articulation disorder. So articulation disorder just means the placement of all the different muscles and mouth structures, all the things that go into you actually speaking, quote, clearly or in a certain standard was off. Right. And so that's why it's called speech pathology. Pathology means something's deviating from the norm. And so I was just fascinated. And I would go to the speech pathology offices and I'd look at these women and I was like, they get paid to just sit with a child and help them speak better. I said, this is the best career on the planet. Yeah. He was 8. I was like maybe 11,
Was this
12.
when he was first learning to speak?
Yeah. So he must have been like 3.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4
How
years
did it
old.
manifest? Did he just sort of
Just
with certain words or certain?
it would
Yeah.
just be like, oh, and then you would like you'd hear it, but then it would sound cute, but you would, and I'm like, oh, he means this.
Right.
And so that's also one of the signs that like you're going to need an intervention. If someone had to translate something for you,
Yeah.
then it's like, oh, you might need.
That's interesting. So, I mean, when does it cross, if in terms of just that development, when does it actually cross the border from being just cute and sort of how they speak, children, that is, into it actually being something that's a bit of an impediment, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it takes educators, it takes family, and like I said, one of the biggest markers for speech in general, right? Because again, strokes, as you get older, car accident, traumatic brain injury, however the manifestation is of an articulation disorder, it usually stems from people can't understand you.
Right.
Which is understood when you're a child. But if it's going on too long where like the mother or the father or someone else is like, this is what he means. This is and then people are like, oh, okay. Then that's usually one of the first signs. Like if it gets in the way of your work, if you're an adult, right? Or if it gets in the way of you being able to communicate, then it's like, okay, we need to intervene.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm just curious, around what age did that start being an issue for your brother?
About like 2, 3 years old. And so in speech pathology, again, we can have a whole podcast on speech pathology.
I know, but I'm just curious.
And there's what's called the language acquisition device, which is just a part of the brain that's actually primed for language. We, unlike every other animal on the planet, are the only ones that actually literally have language, right? Like in terms, like other animals communicate, and they might even have some building blocks of language, but is unique to human beings in terms of the permutation of tenses, right? Past tense, present tense, future tense, how I got into AI, right?
Well, yeah.
Which is schema. Right. So when you listen to when you hear people talk about AI, they're like neural networks, schema. They're using all this is linguistics, which is speech pathology.
Right. It all goes back. And for those that don't know what schema,
so basically schema is a four-legged animal. Usually children will learn it's a dog. It's a dog or a cat, right? So then every four-legged animal is a dog, right? So it's like, no, that one's a cat. No, that one's a horse. No, that one's an elephant. That one has a trunk, And so that's what schema is. It's the notion of an idea, which is a word, right? Or an object, right? That you have to have a word for it, right? But then it's like you have to differentiate because not all the things are the thing, right? Not every four-legged creature is a dog.
Right.
And so when you start to do that, you start to build out language.
Right, for all of the different things, correct.
And so that starts to happen around 2, 3, 4. There's different phonemes. Again, this is more jargon here about different sounds that come out of our mouth. And certain ages, you're supposed to be able to pronounce certain sounds.
So were you a translator for your brother?
To a certain degree.
Yeah. And did that affect how you sort of saw how communication went or how conversation or language and the power of it affected you? Because you had no issues with any kind of communication?
Oh, no. I'm talkative.
Yeah. So then I guess what kind of framework did that give you in terms of how people have issues with that? And what is that?
Yeah. I mean, my power of empathy, because I was like, wait a minute. He really wants to say this. He thinks this is funny, or he thinks something, and no one's laughing. No one gets it. No one's like, oh. And I know my little brother, and I'm like, oh, man, this is what he means. But then the moment's lost. The magic is lost in that space between what you meant to say and what people interpret.
Absolutely.
And that gap is what I want to occupy. And that's why I wanted to do speech pathology.
Wow.
So unleash that untapped potential.
Because he saw that sad moment that that affected him, I'm sure, because he wasn't able to get across whatever he was trying to get across. And then that moment was gone for him.
Sad.
Yeah. And so that made you pay more attention to it in relation to anything else that you saw? What else did you then kind of see around language?
Oh, yeah.
As a result of that, because then it opened up.
Yeah,
right?
I was already a poet.
At
My
12.
way before 12.
Amazing. Great.
My father is a master teacher. He taught. He had children, students, high school students. In the 80s when it was like drugs and teenage pregnancy and high crime and you name it. He literally was having them write blogs before blogs were blogs. He was like, you know what? I want you to talk about the world that you live in. I want you to talk about society. And he was like, right. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I was like, you have a thought or you have a feeling about, name it. So there were kids in the 80s in his class from Brooklyn writing about apartheid in South Africa. And he was like, if they couldn't read or they couldn't write, he was like, you know what? I'll give you a tape recorder. Speak it. I will translate it for you. And then he published it.
Wow.
And then he published a book about that entire journey.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So there's a focus on a lineage.
Daddy.
Yeah.
So that was my childhood.
Yeah.
Was constantly learning, constantly, questioning, constantly being exposed to the arts, to technology, to politics, to just Renaissance. And so with that, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna talk. Oh yeah, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna listen. Yes, I'm gonna and so like that level of like largeness of occupying what life can be and what's possible, and then learning about speech pathology and that people can't speak to whatever's going on. I was like, oh my God, that's why I love the career.
Yeah. And you went in to teach from
like Daddy.
Yeah. And how did you find it? What did you think?
Oh, I love teaching.
Yeah.
I just saw one of my students 2 days ago. I was at Luminary for a networking entrepreneur event. And this one was like, Miss. And I was like, she's like, I know you. And I was like, oh my God, this New York City's crazy. It's one of my former students.
Amazing.
And I saw another one, Kamoria, on the train 2 weeks ago, and people gave me tissues because I was crying. Like, I love my students. They know that I'm real.
Yeah.
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 And I would tell them, like, go do it. Whatever you want to do in life, do it.
And you empowered them to do it. But also, in addition to you sort of studying this speech and sort of having this very intellectual kind of curiosity, you were also performing, right?
I'm sorry, I shed little tears of joy because I really love teaching. I really love
we're going to talk more about teaching because I want to learn. I admire teachers. And yeah, and I think what
Chanel
they're doing
mascara.
is really important.
Oh God,
it's okay. It will hold. But I am interested because if you're focusing in on speech, then also performance is a natural kind of movement. You're moving towards that in terms of just expression, right? And you told me that you were doing performances when you were very young, anyway, right?
Yeah, my father and my parents, specifically my father, was just like, this child. I was getting into trouble all the time. My mouth, blah, 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 blah. And so they were like, oh, what are we going to do? Yeah. So they were just trying to enroll me in as many programs. I was gardening in Brooklyn Botanical Gardens, growing zinnias and zucchini. Do it. And they were like, put her in dance, put her in reading classes. Like literally, they were just like, what can we do to this child? So I took piano lessons. I was composing ragtime with both hands, like composing it. And the teachers were like, what? And then dance class. I really wanted to be an Alvin Ailey.
Right.
So I was doing that. I'm very blessed. Yeah. My parents, with their little middle class assimilation from the Caribbean
and growing up
background.
In New York, also it seemed like you were doing all the things that you had access to. Right?
They took me to the museums. They took me to concerts. So I was just constantly like, what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to be human? And I was just absorbing it like all the time. I'm playing piano. I'm dancing.
As much as communication, as much as you can put out, right?
I'm doing poetry. I was just, they were just, and my parents were just like, go do it.
Yeah, that's such a gift, right? Because not a lot of people get the chance to actually explore that and wonder what humanity is at a young age. Most people are just trying to figure out who they are. But you also probably found out who you were through all of these different factions, right? And what you wanted to do, potentially. I mean, so you followed in your dad's footsteps to teach, and that's great. And you taught all over the city and all. And was inclusivity a conversation? I mean, I guess the inclusivity is part of the speech pathology because... Right? Yeah, because if you can't communicate and you can't, then things are going to have to be adjusted for you, right?
So I got awards in speech pathology because I was obsessed.
What kind of awards did you get?
So I was studying augmentative alternative communication devices. So again, I was really obsessed with unleashing the untapped potential of people's ability to communicate. And so devices like what Stephen Hawking uses, like the computers, there's sensors, there's all these different ways in which people who...
Haptic is something.
Haptic. Right. So it could be fit. So again, articulation, and we haven't even covered receptive communication, which is people's ability to understand.
Right.
That's a whole other section
For
of
sure.
speech. But either way, receptive and expressive. Expressive is when you articulate, when you're talking. Right. So I was just obsessed with how can people communicate and connect with other people. So yeah, they would send me on trips to conferences. I'm like 18 years old, 19 years old, researching in these tech conferences.
About what the inclusivity for folks that had these issues could be.
I was obsessed. And then at that time, Newt Gingrich had the contract with America. And there was a firestorm about Ebonics, about Black English, and how... maybe Black people can't talk in regular English. Maybe they can't learn in English. And maybe teachers need to start talking in Black English to these Black children. Yes.
I remember that. I thought, what the fuck is that?
Yes. So I'm like 17, 18. I graduated high school young. So I was really young. Right. And so I understood the politicization of language.
Right. Which is, that's not talked about really enough, I find.
And so Dr. Anderson was the president of NESPA, the National Association of Speech Language Pathologists. So she championed this notion of having a deeper conversation about AAV. Which is the African American Vernacular English, which is the proper term for Ebonics. And so I was in on those conversations, and I was like, oh. So when I got into AI and thinking about data sets, thinking about bias, thinking about what AI, what data is, what does it generate, and what is it generating from?
Right.
What is missing in the data set?
Yes.
I was like, all of my life, because I know it's all over the place. It's children running up to me that are grown adults, right? It's my daddy and writing blogs before blogs were blogs. It's all these things, but it all actually ended up making sense because I learned speech during that time of Ebonics and also my obsession with technology. Is why I'm in tech now.
Yes.
Crazy.
As a result, it all sort of came together as one piece. But I also just want to segue for a second that you did... Also, you were also a performer.
Yeah, I know.
And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But while you were teaching, were you trying to perform? Or were you performing?
I was off Broadway. Yeah, I was on TV.
How did that happen? Do you want to, I don't know if the alter ego that I mentioned at the beginning of this episode will come out right now. But as a performer, what was, because that's a totally different career path too, right? And a lot of people are not on Broadway or off Broadway or on television at a young age. So was there something that cracked that open for you too? I
was obsessed with Carol Burnett.
As you would be. Everyone look her up.
So it's kind of like imprinting, like a duck will not quack. If a duck is raised by a deer, it won't quack.
That's true.
So my imprinting was Carol Burnett. So I'm going to quack like Carol Burnett. I'm like 4, 5, 6 years old.
I can see it. I can see it.
Hence my parents are like, God, put this child in every program.
So you were just performative. Yeah.
Very extrovert, very like and so I was at Howard doing speech pathology, obsessed learning about these tech devices, right?
Yeah.
And my senior year, I just had tons of electives to do because I packed in all of my credits.
Yeah.
So I had senior year. I would suggest people do that. Like make your senior year be your remote year, but on campus. That year should be your fun year.
That's a good note. It's not often people's fun years.
It was my fun year. I was like, let me take acting.
Right.
So everyone was like, you need a show. So I started acting. Senior year.
In other people's stuff?
Second semester, I took one intro to acting class. And then I'm like, I'm going to audition for Spike Lee because Howard University is going to do the first annual Blackface Award because Spike Lee had just come out with Bamboozled, which was specifically about the power of stereotypes.
Right. I love that movie.
Genius movie.
Brilliant movie.
And I'm from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Love Spike Lee.
Right.
And I'm like, if Howard is going to do a theatrical review of the entire catalog of Spike Lee's movies.
How did they do that? Did they just do verbatim from the scripts, or
Yeah,
they just
like
really?
a review, just like the Oscars would do a review. Yeah.
So what skit were you in?
I auditioned, thank you, with a poem that I had just wrote, and messed up and didn't do it properly at the open mic the week before.
All right.
But I had practiced
Okay.
for a week. And Frenchie, if people remember Frenchie was on MTV. Frenchie was a year above me. So Frenchie was my guide. And she was like, we don't believe you. She talked so much trash to me on stage. And again, Howard, we're talking Felicia Rashad. We're talking Debbie Allen. We're talking Chadwick Boseman, who was the Black Panther was a year before me.
Right.
So I knew about Howard, the history of acting, the legacy. I'm walking past people who have monologues that they've memorized from Othello, and I'm doing my poem, and she's like, we don't believe you. But I stood there, and I owned it. And the next time I stood there, I was on stage in front of 1,200 people and Spike Lee doing a review of School Days. And I was Rachel, the star.
Oh, wow.
The star. The first time I was on stage acting. Yeah.
And you were not, you were ready for it. Were you? Were you? I don't know. This is...
I had no choice.
Right, because it's just what was there. Right?
So people were like, so afterwards I would do other shows and people, are you nervous? And I would just look at them like, I have no vocabulary for nervous because the first time I was on stage was in front of Spike Lee. I couldn't mess it up.
So, that's the highest bar you could set immediately from the get. So then where do you go from there? Yeah.
So literally I was just like, all right, if God put me on stage like this to this level, everything else is like,
is an easier, right. So then did you continue?
It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And so when you went into teaching, did you continue?
Yep.
To develop stuff you could do for stage.
And on screen, too.
And on screen.
So I had my first commercial. I had just started teaching in the Bronx, IS 158, shout out. And so I'm like literally 21 years old teaching these kids. It's like pachyderm. They're just running through the halls. There's just very little discipline. It's a total disaster. I just graduated from Howard, the Mecca, right? Thurgood Marshall. And I'm like, oh God, like daddy taught and I'm going to teach, but whoa, like insane. The Bronx. 9/11 happened a few days after I start my first day teaching. There we go.
Oh, there it is.
There we go.
There's your 9/11 story. Yep. Right.
I was in front of the kids.
Yeah.
We watched it on live TV.
Jesus.
I'm 21.
Yeah. Did you ask everyone to explain how they felt?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was insane. There were little sixth graders in the Bronx. So talking about, they didn't understand how far away it was. They're like, well, we'll go over the bridge and we'll smoke them out. I was like, honey, let's go to the map. It's a whole other podcast.
Of course.
Because rarely did TVs be in classrooms, but especially in the Bronx, but our classroom did. So we watched it. It was, again, you want to talk about communication. And that's what I think, again, people really need to understand communication.
Right.
Because when children are in trauma, it affects their ability to communicate.
Well, they clam up, right? That's like the first safety.
Or they stutter. There's all these different things that I was so obsessed with. So I'd be in the classroom and I'd pick up on everything and be very nurturing to get it out. So then now my first commercial was for AIDS prevention. And so I'm just, again, I did the commercial. Oh, no. The day that thing aired, the next day, those children that run wild, they were running wild after me. She's on TV! She's on!
You were a celebrity.
I'm like, I still need to be evaluated. The principal, like...
Yeah.
21. Like, all of this.
All that's happening so
much.
Yeah.
Got my first cell phone. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Because of 9/11, right? You need a phone.
No, you suddenly need a phone. That's when I got a phone, too.
So I'm like, I need to keep this job so I can pay for this phone, right? Like,
Yeah.
So that was like my, so I was always like, I was.
You were doing both. right?
I had an agent. I would audition in the summers. I would audition whenever we had vacations. And then I had my show. I launched it 2002, called Sit Your Ass Down.
Yeah. And it was a fringe show, was it?
It ended up being in the New York International Fringe
I'm
Festival
familiar
in 2005.
I'm familiar with the fringe festivals.
Thank you.
What theater what space were you in?
It was at, oh God, and I know where it is, my brain right now.
That's okay.
Dixon Place.
I know Dixon Place. I did a show about a bunch of dead bodies in Dixon Place.
There you go.
There it is. I know Dixon Place.
Someone needs to.
Someone always needs to do a show about dead bodies. Let's bring it all back. But yes. Okay. Yeah. I'm familiar with the Fringe, and the Fringe is a great place for that sort of just exploration, right? Of doing your one person. Yeah.
So I did 21. New York Magazine at the time said that I was 21 perfect pitch characters of the Black experience by a talented character actor. This is it's somewhere on the internet.
It's amazing that you got all attention, that you were actively getting attention and sort of succeeding. But you weren't really. Did you want to perform as your main goal, or you just sort of kept it?
Carol Burnett.
I know, but kept it together. Because I mean, a lot of actors that I know just are actors, and they're teaching, but that's a side hustle to becoming whatever they want to become.
No, my goal is my show. My goal is my show. Super fast at Howard, senior year, like a day or two before graduation. I'm not partying, which I usually did before, and then I would read the dictionary I'd find like 5 words and then go party, and then maybe like see how many words I would remember while I partied.
Oh, wow.
Again,
that's
your brain.
You need to keep your brain moving.
When you talk about dementia, Alzheimer's, like use your brain, right?
Yes.
So I was doing all these.
That's a good note. We should all just do that, actually.
And so for whatever reason, I didn't party the 2 days before graduation. Walking down the street, went to a bar. Basically, an older version of me, like a sophisticated, cute little Black lady, was like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm about to graduate Howard." And she was like, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I was like, "Well, I have this degree in speech pathology, and I just did like this thing with Spike Lee, and I wrote like a whole bunch of poems." And she was like, "Whoopi Goldberg." She was like, "Whoopi Goldberg, one woman show, HBO." She was like, "That's you. You need to do that." That woman, Lydia, changed my life. Yeah. That's how I was able to be like, you know what? I'm doing a one-woman show.
You're doing a one-woman show. Did you not know about that show before?
I mean, I knew about Whoopi, right?
Because again, we all know about Whoopi, but
yeah, but I never put 2 and 2. Because again, I was doing this clinical stuff, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, so I hadn't put 2 and 2 together,
kind of thing. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
She was like, boom, and I was like, all right,
there's that. Yeah, absolutely. Well, so from teaching to doing your show, did the AI stuff happen because you were doing work in tech around sort of speech, or did it? I mean, who tapped you for it?
I think I need to relax because I know that this is like a lot to explain. Like, how does a human being do all this in one lifetime?
Well, this is a lot, right? And I think one of the, we like to talk about superpowers, and it seems like a multitasking thing is your superpower. But I'm always curious about how folks, and part of the show is how folks get to where they get to, because there's always some guardian angel like Lydia. I have a few of those too that lead you into new places. And so I'm curious if there was someone that tapped you for this, or
how it happened.
Yeah.
So I started to do a show in 2018, which we'll talk about later.
Yes.
Called Black Issues.
Yes.
And then I was teaching also at the Schomburg in Harlem. Kids that I was teaching them theater. And so I had them do a student version of satire about issues around injustice in America. I was like, yeah, let's do this. And then I got that into South by Southwest because I'm very good at writing proposals.
That's great. That's all it's about.
And then I was like, y'all are coming with me, and we're gonna perform this theatrical theoretical framework that I'm building around how to talk about difficult conversations, improv, and interact with the audience in real time. And you're 12. We're gonna
take that to South by Southwest. And actually, just as a question, because South by Southwest is so segmented, what faction of what?
EDU.
Okay.
For teachers.
Okay.
And I said, we're gonna do this, and then after that, we're gonna publish our findings.
Great. That makes sense. That's the through line.
That's what you do when you're 12.
Yeah.
To 16.
Yes.
And so, from Harlem.
Right.
And so, yes. So all of this was being planned while I also had my show at Joe's Pub.
Right. So it transferred.
So I had the adult version of the show was going to be at Joe's Pub And then the week after that, we're going to fly. And everything was working out. Everything was great.
All happening.
Until the COVIDs.
Right. It's ruined everybody's plans, those COVIDs.
The
COVIDs ruined everything.
Literally.
Such party poop. I know. Yeah.
This was the biggest year of my life.
And
outside of Spike Lee. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like Black Issues.
This was 19? Was this
2020? Black Issues Issues, Joe's Pub.
Yeah.
And South by Southwest EDU.
Yeah.
What is this?
All happening
virus?
At the same time.
What? Huh?
Don't even worry about it.
What?
So wait. So it all just
dissolved
immediately. I know.
And so South by Southwest was like, hey, we want you back. We're sorry that we had to cancel this, but we still want you to do something. And so 2 years later, just because I was still processing what's going on, and I'm very sensitive about when I perform the context, I got to bring it. And if not, don't do it, right?
Yeah.
So 2 years later, 2022, I was like, I'll do it, but this time not with the kids. It's just, they're old, they're gone, whatever. I was like, I can come and present because now we're in a different climate of just about how to have difficult conversations, how to do this. So I was there talking about that. And then a friend of mine, Abron, who's an open AI ambassador who I've known for years, he was there. And he was like, I've just launched this tool called DEI GPT. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, and he's like, it's AI. And at the time, ChatGPT had just launched October, not the year before, so it's still very fresh and new. And I was like, well, sure. Oh, let me see. I'm getting curious, right? Yeah. I'm constantly curious, constantly learning, constantly pushing myself beyond what's capable and comfortable.
Were you researching anything about AI at the time? Were you thinking about it?
I knew about it.
Yeah. I mean, you were following on it, right?
But I wasn't that deep in it. But I knew enough to know what it was. I knew it was coming.
Yeah. And did you think that it would help the work that you were doing in any way? Or did you feel like there was any... No. The link wasn't there yet on that. Yeah. I think for a lot of us.
I'm an educator who's also an artist.
Right.
I'm a lifelong learner, but that doesn't mean I'm going to go deep into AI.
For sure.
But I did.
Yeah. Yeah. After that. Yes.
And so he kind of helped mentor me, and I was in just tons of research. And then he was like, well, we got invited to go talk at Karadensu. And so, advertisers? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Well, what were you doing for that? What was actually your role when you went on?
I learned, again, so all of this AI, all the speech pathology work that I did helped me to understand data sets, helped me to understand schema, how to program data so that it can generate answers that are as context-rich, fact-filled, and helpful and useful.
So feeding the AI effectively with potentially the good information, right? The good information, the stuff that it should know and should then spin upon.
Yes. Generates. That's the word.
Okay.
And so I was like, things are starting to make sense. Because I never really formally used my speech pathology degree. Not formally.
Right. You used it for reference and right.
I'll still navigate when I wasn't a special ed teacher, but I would still help the special ed team because we had to learn about ID. We had to learn all the special ed law too.
Right.
So I was passionate about that. I'm published about that too. To have a whole world of education that we haven't even talked about.
Right.
So all of that I did. And so with the AI, and then I'm learning, and I'm like, whoa. Okay, interesting. And so just, again, networking, female quotient is an amazing fount of empowerment and knowledge and networking.
Yes.
So at that South by Southwest, I also discovered female quotient. I was like, these sophisticated ladies and their blazers and their cocktails and they're talking and they're serious. I was like, I want this. And so, I just started knowing and networking people at the female quotient. They're like, we like you, Kanene. Because again, I'm off Broadway. So if you need someone to moderate, you need someone to keynote.
You felt comfortable doing all of that because of that background, for sure. Yes.
And I've done conferences before as an educator. So, I'm not afraid of the stage because I've been in front of Spike Lee. So, what do you need me to do? And so, we would love for you to moderate a panel about how women need to be at the center of AI at Adweek.
Oh, great. I know Adweek. We know Adweek. Yes.
I didn't know. I mean, I knew of Adweek, but there was no reason for me to go to Adweek.
Well, it's interesting you got tapped for advertising.
So here I am with my little outfit, and I'm moderating. And I'm like, yes, let's go, women, big energy.
Yes.
And someone ran up to me. He was like, I need you. And I was like, okay. And his name is Rob Rasco with the Brand Safety Summit, which is this global conference for the ad tech community.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, he was like, I need you to talk on stage. And I was like, dude, I'm new to advertising. Now I got to learn ad tech. You know, like,
It's a whole other, well,
I just learned AI. You know, not to say that I learned any. When I say lame, I'm meaning like not all the things, but I'm learning.
but layman and yeah.
And so I was the irony, since this whole show is about journeys.
Yes,
I've been obsessed with ad tech.
Why? Why?
That is the best question I've ever gotten in my life.
I'm just curious why.
Why?
Well, you know, because out of all the things you could be obsessed with and all the different things you've experienced, what did you think about it?
I was obsessed with my online representation of my humanity. And how that's mediated back to me on platforms and websites, because that data is being collected and sold and finessed. And I knew all of this.
Right.
So I was just obsessed.
So touch of programmatic as well, right? Just all of that and unlocking that all that was happening.
So I would do experiments.
Yes. Because
I was a director of art and technology at a high school for transfer youth. And so they were obsessed with social media, and I would just look at them like, what do you think is happening here?
Well, because they didn't know necessarily, right? They didn't know that all of this had the consequences of being, you know, all their data being mined, all their information being mined for the, for advertising. And having sat in a million advertising tech conferences, that's something that's been a reality in my head, and sort of the reason that I always thought social media had a bit of an edge that was uncomfortable myself.
But we love it, right? It's
I mean, I think it's a double-edged sword, right? It's what you put out there, what you get back, paying attention to the system of it. But you were teaching kids that this was happening, right?
And so I was also doing Facebook Lives about politics, because my friend had dared me to do that. And so every day I would do these lives, and my students would be on my lives. Because they loved my social social studies class so much, they're following me on social media too. To talk about the world and politics. This is literally it. I'm not talking sometimes popular culture, but it was really what's happening.
You were their news source.
And so I would ask them in real time, you're watching me, right? I'm very clear about what I've titled this live to be. What's showing up in your ads on your end, and I'll tell you what's showing up in mine.
Right.
I was obsessed.
It's because it was sort of unlocking that for you, right? Because it wasn't something you saw before.
Well, I mean, I've been studying it, and then and just sharing with others, you might not be in this industry, but this industry is really into you.
Well, the industry's into all of us.
Yes.
Right? Yes.
And so I was just really curious about what does this mean, right? Because again, it's an extension of it's another form of communication.
Absolutely.
Right? These brands are like, you searched us before. Why don't you buy us right now?
Right. And we can see what you're searching for. Right? Yeah. So it's just unlocking that and making students aware, which I think is a great public service, because I think that's not spoken about.
And I love it. I
think it's important. I think they should know what they're getting into when they're putting their information out. Right.
And I would love it too, because again, my brain, right? I'm into so many different things on any given day.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, oh, there's a Chanel ad there today? Awesome. Tomorrow it might be a Steinway piano, because I just researched about
a bunch of different things.
Piano. Right.
Yeah.
So I was really curious about that. And so when I got to talk at the ad tech industry and learn more about the ad tech industry, I was like, okay, wow, I really love this. Again, the notion on data, but also the notion on context. Again, connecting, communicating. How are we communicating? There's receptive, right?
Yeah.
And expressive, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're supposed to receive the expression of a brand.
Right. Well, and what is the expression of the brand?
Right.
In relation to us, and how are they modifying it based on what they want for us? And so you ended up did you come into brands then?
Yeah, so now I'm starting to do AI consulting with brands, with advertising agencies. It's really exciting because I'm obsessed. we'll go back into my show here. So I was obsessed with branding. I was obsessed with advertising for years because I would study it to brand myself.
Right.
This is pre-creator. This is pre-social media.
Well, this is what you need to do, right? As an entertainer or as somebody who has any kind of content, you have to be able to be good at that.
So 2002, I would send out the maximum amount of email addresses at Hotmail before it would shut me down. So I was doing email blasts.
That's what you needed to do. Your shows were packed probably, right? Yeah.
So I was already studying in real time the future of being a creative.
So when this came along, this was, I mean, it seemed like an obvious pairing.
All
right?
of it.
And you were ready for it.
All of it. All of it. I've been researching it all this. It was almost like, we're ready for you because you have been ready for us.
It's all just right here. Yes. I wanted to ask you about inclusivity and AI.
Yes.
What do you say about it? When you're talking to brands about it, or what's your thoughts about your ideology around any of that?
I think it's the power of the data set. That's why we can talk about data as DNA.
Yeah.
That's my thought, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think the difference between the 20th century before and the 21st century onward, right? It's not so much our frontal lobe, right? It's going to be our data. Our data, the data is going to flow through the veins of our economy, the veins of our ability to connect with each other. Everything is going to be based on our data. It's literally going to be our new form of DNA. It's literally going to be encoding the potential of what it is to connect as human beings.
And that data being whatever we put out into the world, anything that can be mined, that's...
So the power of the data is going to be our power to still connect and communicate. That's ultimately why we're here. And we've done it. The printing press,
there's various iterations of how to do it, and now this is it. In terms of inclusivity, though, does it feel like, because of the people that are building these systems, does it feel like the inclusivity isn't always there and it needs to be opted in, and that's where you come into the picture? Yeah.
So I think if we take, for example, the printing press, right? It would generate, right? It was generating too, but it was generating verbatim what you fed it.
Right.
The thing with AI is it's generating based on multiple bits of information.
That it's pulling.
And
who are the people that are feeding that information?
Exactly. So the power in the data, right, will once the data is received, right? In order for it to express in the best way possible, to connect with people, various different people, you're going to have various different bits of information to still resonate with them.
Correct. And those people that are sending out that various bit of information need to be not look all the same. Right? Not be all from the same background. Not be all the same demographic.
A lot of different, because again, for speech pathology, right? So neurodivergent. If we're not able to connect, communicate, employ, respect, promote C-suite people who are neurodivergent, then most people are going to, if not now, are going to become some level of neurodivergent anyway.
Right.
So if we're not thinking neurodivergent, we're cutting off human potential.
And huge swaths of people.
Huge swaths of people.
So do you feel like companies are concerned about this now? In terms of just their numbers and their selling and what? Do you?
I like to lean into the power again. Of connecting and communicating. To the best degree possible, because that's where the energy is. That's where the momentum is. That's where the joy is. It's where the messaging is. And so we have to constantly ask ourselves, did I set myself up for success? With my team, my resources, the data available, whatever those questions are. Did I do my best to set myself up for success, to connect with people I do know and also connect with people I don't know?
Right.
The power in not knowing, but preparing for that.
And being aware of that.
And being
not
aware
having a
of
blind
that.
spot around that.
What we don't know, we don't know. That could be the magic sauce right there.
I don't know what we don't. I don't know what I don't know. Right?
I didn't know I was going to run into Lydia because it's the one day that I wasn't clubbing.
Right.
And Lydia is the reason why I started doing one-woman shows.
Right.
And I'm off Broadway.
Yeah. So, we all got to pay attention to what we pay attention to.
The power of what is missing, the FOMO, the fear of missing out.
Tap into that, potentially. And you've started your own consulting business as a result.
Yes.
Is that all word of mouth? Is that feeling like, how do people know about you? What do they do? What's like?
It's so funny.
I'm just because I feel like a lot of folks that listen to our show are entrepreneurs or are trying their own thing.
Yeah.
And are trying to figure out how to navigate running something like a business. And I think there's some sort of secret sauce that sort of exists is that once people start hearing about you, then you're busy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So I've already, I guess I've been, I was very good at guerrilla marketing anyway, like, just to do my shows. I'm just very good at networking. I'm very good at taking up space. I'm pink.
Yeah.
Like, she's there. So then the fact that I will scroll to the bottom of the internet and I'll research something. I'm usually prepared to a very large degree. And what I don't know, I will find out really quickly.
Yeah.
I'm not scared. I'm articulate. It's also like, she's not a risk. She's going to do it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I carry that level of like
experience.
And I've taught everywhere from prisons to.
So you're comfortable. Yeah.
And I know the power of how to get a lesson across so that people go, wow. And they don't just learn it for one day and then they forget. Like, no, how do we make this learning moment a movement? And that's what drives my consultants.
And that's what also gets people sort of fired up, potentially, right? And are you finding holes in sort of messaging a lot of the time? Are you looking through what companies are doing in terms of messaging and saying, well, you're not getting what you want because you're not reaching or following?
Oh, you mean in terms of like AI and what they're generating?
In terms of how you come in and you approach their messaging. Because I'm just interested because I always am curious about the through line of where they're going with this and why they're.
Well, I show examples.
Yeah.
I show a lot of examples. I'm actually, can't show it yet, but I'm actually cooking up my own AI brand.
Yeah? Okay.
And I'm going to show like how that's done, right?
Okay.
So that people learn by what to do and also by what not to do, right? Animaniacs, good idea, bad idea. And I think in that gap, they can fill that gap and say, oh, shoot, well, I definitely don't want to be on that side. And let me take something from this good idea side so that I can
that's a good example.
Set myself up for success.
That's a good example. Should have been a good show.
But good idea, bad idea.
Yeah, well,
Animaniacs?
It's a good show.
I love Animaniacs.
I love it too. But I also remember there being like, they could have gone further with this idea. Right?
The good idea, bad idea?
Yeah.
It's genius.
Exactly.
We can do that.
Yeah.
I have ideas about it. I used to do good idea, bad idea with my students.
That's a great game. That's a great game to play. Oh my goodness. I do want to talk a little bit about Black issues because you have an alter ego, which I think is incredibly interesting. And I mean, and you're a comedian, which, I am very impressed by comedians because I think that's a very hard thing to be able to do. So who is your alter ego, or do you want to show me who she is? I don't know. It's up to you. You can tell me about her, or you can show me who she is.
You can start to mention some things that you know about her as I to her. You can start to talk about.
I'm gonna sort of talk about how
the book she's
here's the cover of our alter ego, which I'm gonna let you say her name because I think you say it best. But you've had shows with her at the Joe's Pub, and she also showed up at the Fast Company Innovation Festival when you were actually contracted to be the one on there.
Yes.
So this sort of reminds me of, this is a deep cut for those that don't know. Andy Kaufman was a comedian back in the day. He actually had a character that he stayed in all the time that scared the crap out of people. And he never left it. And you can research Andy Kaufman so we don't get too deep into this, but it sort of reminds me of that, in that when you're in this, she also showed up at the Met Gala. I think she's about to be here in just a minute. And this was sort of a talk show format that was at Joe's Pub for this. Hello.
Hold on,
I'm going to see. Oh, she looks perfect. And this was Black Issues. And this was a very long 400-page, document book that she produced.
And we're Black, yes. And I am Rebecca for the Blacks, yes.
Hello.
Yes. I'm just so excited to meet you here, darling. And thank you so much for having me. This is just a lovely place. I really love the wood detailing,
Me too.
It's real.
It is. It is real.
We're talking about AI, but we need things that are real.
We need things that are real.
You know what else is real?
What's real?
A parasol.
Oh, it is.
Not an umbrella.
What's the difference?
Oh, darling.
Can you tell me?
This is for what I like to call fashion. This is all about the fashion. Indeed, yes. And a rain, a umbrella, the rain, precipitation, something like that. But the parasol is just for
fashion.
Fashion.
Where did we last see you? Did you go to the Met Gala?
I was at the Met Gala. Darlings, I have been, there's a new level of what we call sleep deprivation that I am under because, as you know, Conway Nast, yes, is going through some transitions, Blindy, yes, whereby I am being hand-selected or plucked, if you will, Blindy, yes, to be the new editor of Vogue.
Oh, my goodness.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. Completely. Congratulations.
Yes. Fruit infused water. Cheers.
This is lemon.
Darling. As one does.
Yes, indeed. That is congratulations. That's huge. And
Lindy,
well-deserved.
Yes. Well, I've been preparing for this all my life. As you can see here, I've been taking copious notes in my notepad here.
I have. I see that. It's beautiful.
Lindy, yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
So many notes.
Totally.
What's the first issue you're going to speak about?
Well, the first issue is going to be, in the words of Jay-Z, Lindy, yes, but allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Vogue. And so that is going to be the first issue where we go through the blog archives, yes, of what Vogue has been, what Vogue means to you, and what is the future of Vogue.
What is the future of Vogue? What is the future of Vogue? Can you tell me? Are you giving it away? Do you not want to tell me? You don't have to. We're going to talk about what the future is.
There are 400 pages of copious notes.
Of course.
That will be revealed.
Within this issue.
Within multiple issues moving forward.
Is it going to be broken up into multiple issues?
Oh, multiple issues.
Oh, so many.
And we're going to actually have new reinforced bookshelving for the issues of the mailboxes are going to have to be reconfigured, Lindy, yes, because the issues of Vogue are going to be so
thick.
Yes,
so thick. 400 pages.
The
first
armored trucks are going to have to be deployed.
I can't wait.
Oh, I'm beyond excited, darling.
It's going to be groundbreaking.
We need it.
We do.
Fashion.
Absolutely fashion.
The Devil Wears Prada is also, so I'm just really busy. Really.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, and and this is also,
I want to just show this is fashion.
It is
right
all
here.
about the fashion, darling.
Oh my goodness, look at this.
Yes.
Where'd you even find this coat? Is it the Muppets?
I have my sources, darling. I have my sources.
I love your unicorn bag.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
because, when people ask me, what is in, in terms of fashion?
Yeah, what is it?
I tell them, I don't wear what's in. I wear what's in my closet.
How revolutionary. We should all wear what's in our closets.
And what is in my closet, guess what? Is always in.
Of course. I would think nothing less.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
Thank you.
I love you, Black, yes. And so we have to share more about where they can find me.
Yes, we're going to talk much more about where we can find her and what we're going to be doing in the future together.
Yes.
Because we need to do something that's live.
Yes. And so it's Black Issues on the Instagram.
Yes, indeed.
Black Issues.
I got
we'll
have to see her another time.
We're Blacker for the Blacks.
Thank you.
And for me, it's FutureFixer on Instagram and TikTok for my consulting on the future of work, the future of AI workplace adoption, and then I'm also very active on the LinkedIn's.
I wanna ask you though a couple
Is there like
things
a white hair on my head?
You're all set. You're all set. It's lovely. I want to ask you just before we go, and thank you for telling us where we can follow Kanene and support her, and she will be involved a little bit more in things that we do in the future because. Potentially, you don't know. To be continued on that.
Well, Vogue,
Vogue all the time. I do want to ask you something that we should consume. This is my new question for season 2. What should we? That could be eat, that could be read, that could be watch. What should we consume that you like right now, that you love, or that would be good for humanity? You can have it be as broad or as quaint as you like.
Interesting. What do I consume? Well, I love Fast Company, right? Because I did my character as her, and then that's a whole nother story. I'll show it to you in the thing where I ran the book in AI, and it showed all the different craziness, and people were like, what? And that was fun. So I love Fast Company. I love their innovation festival. I love their magazine. It really clarifies what is going on in terms of trends and the future of work, the future of, AI, tech, fashion.
Shout out for Fast Company.
Fast Company. Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa.
Yep.
And I consume meditation.
Oh.
I consume silence. After all I just said about communicating, I also know the power of the silence because that's how I'm able to rejuvenate and then be
Absolutely.
all the things.
So let's all consume some silence in our future and unplug so that we can actually think about
And
things.
that's what my character says. We're black before the black. She goes, and now a moment of silence. And then when the silence is over, she goes, and we're black. That's what she goes.
Thank you for bringing her. Thank you for being here. And
She's here. She's here.
And we love you. Thank you, Kanene. Thanks for listening. I'm Nikki Frankel saying if you do what you love, you never work a day. If you want to see what we're doing, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and TikTok and join the conversation on the Discord. Take care of yourself and those around you. Never Work a Day is produced by Preview Media. Producers are Gina Bouchard, Eleni Simos, and Stefan Vloshki. Our editor is Jasmine Jackson. See you soon. Thanks.